Myron Rabinowitz, and I'm here at Fan Court for the 15th Provincial Naptosa Conference, which is being held over the weekend. And I'm speaking to Basil Manuel, who is the National Director of Naptosa South Africa. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Basil, I'd just like to ask you the first question about a very hot topic at the moment, and that's history. With the introduction of history or talk about it. Can you please, what's Naptosa's opinion?
Well, to first put it into perspective, there's a proposal at the moment to make history compulsory in grades 9, 10, 11 and 12. Naptosa is opposed to this because we have history right up to grade 9. We believe that we need to be Africanizing our history. It must be an Afrocentric approach. However, we don't believe that we should be having another compulsory subject. We are also not convinced that it is going to be a balanced history. But more importantly, we are opposed to history replacing life orientation in grade 10, 11 and 12. We've just heard that HIV/AIDS has increased amongst children in that particular phase, and it doesn't make sense that we would now take away the one subject. What we are rather saying is, let's strengthen LO. Let us ensure that our teachers who are chosen to teach it are really doing the job, because we actually need to be developing a moral standard amongst our children as well, much greater than just about HIV and AIDS, but it's about living, and it's about race, and it's about living together and building a better South Africa. That is what Naptosa is advocating.
Basil, there's also talk in the Southern Cape about these retrenchment packages. I've heard certain of the teachers talking about it. Can you please tell us what's Naptosa's view?
Truthfully speaking, we've seen the reports in the press, and it's been more in the press than it has been with the teacher unions. We had a scheduled meeting on Thursday past with Minister Dlodlo. Unfortunately, she fell ill and we haven't had the meeting, but we will be meeting on the 30th with her, where we need to find out exactly what is happening. In our view, it hardly makes sense to try and replace older, more experienced people with necessarily only younger people. We must create jobs. We must create opening for our younger members. But it can't be replacing one with the other. There needs to be a better plan. We acknowledge that in some sectors of the public service there may be a need to shuffle the cards around because technology has come in, etc. But we certainly don't believe that the public sector is overstaffed. We are sensitive to the fact that the wage bill is high, but we want to be engaged as a union. This panic that is created about retrenchments is really destabilizing. Unfortunately, we will also see that many people are going to make decisions which they regret 10 years down the line. Pension is not designed for 50-year-olds, and we are then creating a class of poor people after a lifetime of work.
Something that I'd also like to touch on is this notion that there is so much paperwork and it leaves very little time for teaching. Is that correct, or am I getting that story wrong?
That's absolutely correct. Naptosa has been advocating for years that we re-look at Chapter 4 of our curriculum. All the Chapter 4s in every grade's curriculum is about assessment. And we believe that the pendulum has swung so far towards assessment that our teachers are feeling that all they are doing is assessing, and there is less and less time for teaching. And the job is about teaching, not assessing only. The assessment must be part of your curriculum. And now, for the first time, through a lot of hard work from some dedicated Naptosa members and other union members too, we now have rewritten Chapter 4. It should be published soon in every single phase and every single subject, and I'm appealing to teachers to express an opinion about it. Is this satisfying the need to assess less, teach more, have quality and varied assessments? This is becoming the critical thing. As we move into 21st century type learning, we need to be a little more critical about how we assess and the things that we place emphasis on. And if every teacher only makes one comment on their particular area of expertise, we will be richer for it, because we will get the feel of what the people in George are saying, what the people in Neisden are saying, in Cape Town or in Johannesburg. At the moment, there's some guesswork, and the reality is many of the people who work on these curricular documents in the department have last walked through the passages of schools 30 years ago. They surely don't know more than the practitioners.
Okay, this leads me to my last question. Is Naptosa growing? Is it stable, or is the membership declining?
Naptosa has had a good year. We've seen growth. And let me add that union membership in general has become very static. We haven't seen much growth, but Naptosa has grown, and this particular area around George is one of our very, very important growth points, to the point that we've even opened an office in George, because we see it as a nodal point of a lot of growth. The Southern Cape is an exciting area to be in at the moment, but it's not only here. We've seen KZN growing, we've seen Limpopo growing, and that is really, really good news for Naptosa.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time you spent with me.
My pleasure.